Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Chandra Dwi Kusuma Putra. I am currently a psychology student, hoping one day to become a psychologist who understands and helps people live healthier lives mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Though I am still at the beginning of my academic journey, today I want to invite all of you to reflect on something very close to our lives, yet often ignored: the future of our young generation growing up in the digital age. As a psychology student, I might not yet be a professional, but our mission in this world goes beyond just reading textbooks. We are trained to be sensitive, to care, and to speak up for those who can yet express their own concern. So today, let me speak not just as a student, but as a big brother, as a witness to the phenomenon of brain rot affecting my own younger sibling. I have a younger brother who is still in elementary school. Since he was very young, he has been familiar with phone screens. Gadgets are no longer tools, they have become part of him. Our parents gave him a phone to keep him quiet, hoping it would make him calmer and easier to manage. Every time I go home, I find him absorbed in his device. Sometimes he watches random videos from the internet, sometimes he plays games, but most of the time he watches videos that I believe are not educational at all. I call it brain rot, content that slowly damages child's ability to think critically and imagine creatively. At first, I simply shook my head, but over time I realized I couldn't stay silent. I began to ask, how could such a young child become so addicted to screens? Is this just happening in my family, or is this much a larger social issue? So, what is brain rot? Literally, brain rot means the rotting of the brain. While it's not a formal medical term, it's widely used to describe the negative impact of excessive, shallow, and repetitive digital content, especially fast-paced and impulsive content like TikTok, YouTube Short, or bizarre animation with no storyline. This condition affects attention, concentration, and even children's emotional stability. They become used to instant stimulation, their brains lose patience for deep thinking. They become easily bored, struggle to focus, and often have trouble regulating emotion. As a future psychologist, I feel it is important to share some signs that might indicate brain rot in children. The first one is getting angry or having tantrums when gadgets are taken away. Number two, difficulty concentrating on simple tasks like reading or studying. Number three, loss of interest in creative play or face-to-face social interaction. Number four, addiction to fast content like endless scrolling of short videos. Number five, mimicking strange behavior or expression from online characters. So there are many viral videos that may seem funny on the surface, but can be harmful when consumed excessively by children. For example, the Skibidi Toilet, a chaotic and nonsensical animation with disturbing visual, yet but very popular. Number two, anomaly content and glitch memes, such as Tung 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 Sahur, often complex, dark, and disturbing in nature. Number three, YouTube Kids Clickbait. Popular characters are used in bizarre, exaggerated situations just to grab children's attention. This type of content hijacks the brain dopamine system, providing instant pleasure while destroying the ability to enjoy slower, more meaningful experiences like learning, socializing, or natural play. According to American Academy of Pediatrics, children who spend more than 2 hours a day in front of screens are at higher risk for cognitive problems, social difficulties, and speech delays. In Indonesia, data from We Are Social 2023 shows that Indonesia children aged from 8 to 12 spend an average of 4 to 6 hours daily on gadgets. It's a very long time. This is alarming. If we compare this to time to school hours, it means our children are attending two schools, one in the classroom and one in the wide, unfiltered digital world. So how did this happen? The answer may be bitter, but it needs to be faced. Children don't buy their own phones. They don't know what content is good or bad, unless someone teaches them. In other words, the main source of brain rot is us, parents, families, and the environment. I know that no parent ever intends to harm their child, but good intention without knowledge can lead to unintentional damage. Many parents give gadgets to calm their kids. They allow unrestricted YouTube because everyone else does it. They let them watch anything because they're tired of work. We have created a world where children are raised not by hugs, conversation, or values at home, but by screens. Giving gadgets to children seems like a quick fix. The child is quiet, the house is peaceful, and the parents can rest. But like giving candy every time a child cries, we create a long-term dependency. From a developmental psychology perspective, childhood is a golden period to build emotion, empathy, and social connection. If a child interacts more with screen than with people, this development is disturbed. They may suffer from delayed speech, weakened social skill, or emotional dysregulation. We can imagine a child used to instant entertainment will struggle as an adult to face tasks that require patience, like reading, completing assignments, or forming healthy relationships. Parental failure when children needs are ignored for adult convenience. Parental failure is not always abuse or extreme neglect. Often it comes in quieter forms, like the unwillingness to be emotionally present. Giving a gadget can be one such failure. In psychology, we learn that early attachment between parent and child, known as secure attachment, greatly influence child personality. Children who don't receive emotional attention may grow up insecure, anxious, or emotionally withdrawn. Teaching children how to choose good friends, speak with confidence, and identify danger can be done through YouTube. It requires real presence, not just physical presence, but emotional and spiritual availability. Sadly, when children are raised by screens, they learn about life from algorithms. Their friends become YouTubers, gamers, or fictional characters, not real people. They miss the chance to learn how to resolve real conflicts, understand different opinions, or develop empathy through play. So, unethical questions. Am I blaming my own parents? This is a hard question for me personally, because by raising this issue, I can deny that my own family is part of the problem. Am I blaming my parents? But as future psychologist, I understand that our awareness is not blame. Reflection is not accusation. It's an opportunity to learn and improve. We are all products of our time. My parents, maybe yours too, were not trying to handle digital parenting. They just wanted their children to be calm and safe. They didn't mean to neglect. They just didn't know that screens can be both caregivers and destroyers. So, what is the solution to this problem? Taking the phone away is not enough. We just need to build a world more interesting than the screen itself. The first one is create family routines such as eat dinner without gadgets, tell bedtime story, go for walks, simple things but powerful. Number 2, provide alternative activities such as drawing, puzzles, community events. Kids need real world adjustment, not game scores. Number 3, involve kids in daily tasks such as cooking, gardening, cleaning. Those aren't chores. They build responsibility. Number 4, be a good example. If parents are glued to screens, kids follow. Model healthy behavior. Number 5, limit and guide gadget use. If screens are used, let them be for education for limited time with supervision. Number 6, seek professional help. If addiction signs are clear, don't hesitate to talk to a child psychologist. Early intervention can save futures. Final words. As a psychology student, I believe that big change often start with small awareness. My little brother is not the only one. Out there, millions of children are being raised by screen, not by love. They are not bad kids, they are just lost, because no one showed them the way. I'm not here to blame, I'm here to reflect together. Our kids may be immersed in the digital world, but that doesn't mean we can bring them back to the real one. What we need is not better tech, but better presence. Children are not little beings to silence with a screen. They are mirrors of the home that raised them. If that mirror is cracked, maybe the home was never whole to begin with. All of us, whether as future psychologists, parents, teachers, or concerned individuals, share the same responsibility to protect the future, not to betray it. As Dr. Gabermet, a well-known psychiatrist, once said, the question is why not the addiction, but why the pain. The real question is not why they are addicted, but why they are hurting. Let us not let screens become an escape from wounds we've never healed. Let us be truly present, because no app, no viral video, no algorithm can ever replace a warm hug or a loving gaze. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.